I cannot possibly explain 23 months within such a short time. I suffice by saying that these 23 months were very hard. Sometimes we felt we were living in hell. Sleeping on the hard floor or not being able to bathe or have a suitable meal didn't pose a problem. Our problems were psychological and mental pressure, mental anguish. During this time, my children didn't have access to any medical care. We were kept constantly under immense pressure by our captors. There was a Russian lady there, who one day took us away to carry out a body search. We were being searched separately when she started to beat up my daughter. I was in a different room. My daughter was in the company of 2 police personnel and had no clothes on. She was bleeding around her mouth. This lady had punched my daughter in the mouth because my daughter had swallowed a piece of paper which had a phone number written on it, and she refused to disclose this. When I saw that scene, I pulled my daughter out of their hands and took her in my own arms and started yelling at them, calling them insane people. We held a hunger strike for 4 days. We didn't eat any food. I didn't care about myself during this time. I was only concerned about my children enduring hardship. We were sleeping in a corner in the transit hall. Where the passengers were passing, they were stopping and staring at us. They were ridiculing us and laughing at us. We had to wash our hair in the washrooms. The airport staff used to come in and stare at us while making fun of us. They were insulting us. Words are unable to describe what horrific days we had in there. I can just say that place was such a hell that inflamed us from within the souls of me and my children. This flame was endless. When we moved to the transit hall, we had all our possessions, which we had placed on the second floor. We laid a blanket and sat on the floor. We were sitting close to the VIP lounge where the special passengers would pass through, either by entering or leaving Moscow. A few airport security personnel approached us and told us to leave the area and move to another spot. I asked them for the reason. They told me that this was the VIP place and that we had to move. I responded positively, but asked them to give me a little more time to move our belongings. One of the security personnel, who was a policewoman and a fascist one, told me to do this right away. This was while David, my son, was asleep and I had to wake him up. I told her that it would take a little more time to wake up my son and gather our belongings. She then picked up a couple of our sacks and threw them across the transit hall. I got up and objected to her behaviour. I asked her why she was dealing with us in such a manner. When I asked her this, she put her arm around my neck and threw me at the wall. My face hit the wall and started bleeding, which later gave me a small swelling in the head. I stood up against her after she did this to me. I told her that she had no right to behave that way. I started screaming and shouting, which attracted the attention of all the passengers. After all, she was a police personnel who was abusing her authority and behaving unreasonably with me. When I objected to her, she got hold of me by the collar again and pushed me against the wall and held me tight against it. Well, I defended myself, and she called for assistance using her wireless communicator. More police came over. She told me that they would take me to the detention section of the transit hall. However, we also had a few friends in there that could see what we were going through and what sort of people they were. They intervened between us, and after a while we overcame the situation. However, this imposed lots of unwanted mental pressure on me, in particular on my children. To see their mother in such a fraught state with a bleeding face was unbearable for them. Every country has its own particular procedures and regulations. Well, Russia is such that it used to be under the communist rule in the past and was disintegrated into separate states in different countries. Unfortunately, the fascist ideology still remains within the authorities over there, and they still haven't managed to adopt new ways and methods in their procedures. Realising the concept of freedom and implementing it in their regulations, I conferred my lawyer about these incidents. The incidents go back to the early days of our stay in the transit hall. We were faced with a situation whereby our lawyer was given the priority to matters other than this problem. I have no further information about what course of action may be taken by our lawyer towards our mistreatment at this point in time.